families fleeing in panic, their homes consumed by flames, and lives forever changed. California's wildfires brought devastation on an unimaginable scale. Driven by 100 miles per hour winds, the infernos scorched over several thousands of acres in Los Angeles alone. The image here shows the smoke plume from the fires, as seen from a satellite. Experts had long sounded the alarm. Reducing forest fuel through controlled burns was crucial to preventing disaster. Yet, stringent environmental policies stalled these preventative measures. The situation worsened just 7 months before the fires, when the Los Angeles Fire Department faced a staggering $17 million budget cut. This resulted in annual fire hydrant inspections being unaffordable. When the infernos erupted, firefighters found themselves battling not just flames, but a crippling shortage of water. Hydrants failed and resources faltered. And in the chaos, homes and lives slipped away. The wildfires didn't just leave scars on the land, they reshaped the economic landscape. Beyond the devastation, skyrocketing insurance premiums and a growing exodus of residents are shaking the foundation of the housing market, depleting essential tax revenues and threatening the stability of entire communities. California's tragedy demands urgent action before it's too late. Why does California have so many wildfires? California, known for its golden landscapes and vibrant cities, has a darker side to its natural beauty. Every year, headlines blare with news of devastating wildfires tearing through communities, destroying homes, and claiming lives. Images of infernos engulfing vast swathes of land have become an all-too-familiar sight, leaving many to wonder, why does California seem to burn so often and so catastrophically? To understand this crisis, we need to examine the conditions that make California so prone to wildfires. From the state's unique climate to human actions and the far-reaching effects of climate change, a confluence of factors has created the perfect storm for fire. These fires aren't just a natural occurrence. They are fueled by a combination of environmental, social, and historical forces. California's wildfire problem is rooted in 4 key ingredients: its climate, human activity, fire suppression history, and the ever-growing impact of climate change. California's climate is a naturally fire-prone and fire-friendly. The state receives most of its rainfall during the cooler months of fall and winter. By the time summer rolls around, months without rain cause vegetation to dry out, creating abundant fuel for fires. Add the hot temperatures and low humidity of California's summers, and you have conditions ripe for ignition. Fire, in some ways, is a very simple thing. As long as stuff is dry enough and there's a spark, then that stuff will burn. This simplicity underscores why California's naturally dry vegetation makes it such a fire-prone landscape. However, what has always been a fire-prone climate is now being exacerbated by human-caused climate change. Warmer temperatures caused by greenhouse gas emissions dry out vegetation even further. The climate change connection is straightforward. Warmer temperatures dry out fuels. In areas with abundant and very dry fuels, all you need is a spark. The data is staggering. California's fire records date back to 1932, and of the 10 largest wildfires in state history, all have occurred since 2000. These include the 2018 Mendocino Complex Fire, the largest wildfire on record, and the LNU Lightning Complex Fire, which caused massive destruction in 2020. The human factor in California fires. Even in a fire-prone climate, fires need an ignition source, and humans are overwhelmingly responsible. From faulty power lines to reckless actions, people have become a significant contributor to wildfire ignition. For example, the 2018 Carr Fire, California's 6th largest fire on record, started when a truck's tire blew out. The rim scraped against the pavement, producing sparks that ignited the dry surroundings. Another infamous example is a wildfire sparked by smoke-generating fireworks during a gender reveal party in 2020. California has a lot of people and a really long dry season. People are always creating possible sparks, and as the dry season wears on, the chance that a spark comes off a person at the wrong time just goes up. In addition to accidental ignitions, intentional actions also play a role. Arson, while less common, remains a troubling contributor. Human development also increases wildfire risk. As more people move into areas near forests, the urban-wildland interface, they inadvertently increase the chances of fires. Homes built near fire-prone forests not only create new ignition points, but also place more lives and property at risk when fires inevitably occur. A history of fire suppression. Ironically, one of the biggest contributors to today's massive wildfires is the U.S. history of suppressing fires. For much of the past century, firefighting efforts focused on extinguishing wildfires as quickly as possible. While this strategy protected property in the short term, it led to a dangerous buildup of vegetation in forests over time. Every time we fought a fire successfully, that means that a bunch of stuff that would have burned didn't burn. So, over the last 100 years, we've had an accumulation of plants in a lot of areas. Now, when fires ignite, they burn through these overgrown areas with unprecedented intensity. Recognizing the long-term consequences of fire suppression, land management agencies have turned to prescribed burns, controlled fires that reduce excess vegetation. While this method is effective, it is underutilized due to logistical challenges, regulatory hurdles, and public resistance. Friends, the Santa Ana winds. As if the dry vegetation and human sparks weren't enough, Southern California faces an additional threat every fall: the Santa Ana winds. These powerful gusts blow hot, dry air from inland areas toward the coast, fanning the flames of wildfires and spreading them rapidly. California has two distinct fire seasons. The first, from June to September, is driven by hot, dry weather. The second, from October to April, is dominated by the Santa Ana winds. Fires during this second season burn closer to urban areas and tend to spread 3 times faster than summer fires. These winds not only dry out vegetation, but also carry embers over long distances, creating new fire fronts and making containment efforts more difficult. The economic losses from these fall and winter fires are staggering. Between 1990 and 2010, they accounted for 80% of wildfire-related damages in the state. With these overlapping factors intensifying California's wildfire problem, one question looms large: how can we break the cycle of destruction? Can we address the root causes of wildfires while adapting to the new realities of a warming world? Experts agree that tackling California's wildfire crisis requires a multifaceted approach. No single solution will suffice, but together, several strategies offer hope. The first approach involves mitigating climate change. At the heart of California's wildfire problem is the warming caused by greenhouse gas emissions. Reducing these emissions is critical to slowing the drying of fuels and the intensification of fire seasons. Transitioning to renewable energy sources, increasing energy efficiency, and adopting sustainable practices are all essential steps. The second approach involves improving land management. Prescribed burns and other forest management techniques must be expanded to reduce the dangerous buildup of vegetation. While these measures are challenging to implement, they are among the most effective tools for preventing catastrophic fires. Public education about the importance of prescribed burns can help build support for these efforts. The third approach involves building fire-resilient communities. Communities in fire-prone areas need to adapt to the new normal. This includes designing homes with fire-resistant materials, creating defensible spaces around properties, and improving evacuation planning. Urban planning must also take fire risk into account, avoiding new development in high-risk areas whenever possible. The fourth approach involves holding utilities accountable. Many wildfires have been ignited by downed power lines and other utility infrastructure. Holding utility companies accountable and investing in modernized, fire-resistant infrastructure can significantly reduce the risk of sparks. The fifth approach involves personal responsibility. Individual actions matter too. Avoiding risky activities like using fireworks or outdoor equipment during dry conditions can prevent accidental ignitions. Awareness campaigns can help Californians understand their role in reducing fire risks. Ultimately, California's wildfire crisis is a complex problem with no easy fixes. But it is also a wake-up call for the rest of the world. As climate change accelerates, other regions may face similar challenges. California's experience offers valuable lessons in resilience, adaptation, and the importance of addressing environmental challenges before they spiral out of control. By confronting the root causes and taking bold action, California can turn the tide on its wildfire crisis. The road ahead will not be easy, but with science, innovation, and collective effort, a safer future is within reach.